welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jen, and in the next few videos that will be going up on my channel, I'm going to be doing our end of year recap, just recapping and sort of reviewing all the curriculum that we used in our homeschool and the way that I did it last year, which I think I'm going to do the same this year, is I'm going to do it according to grade, just because I think it helps keep the videos kind of short and concise. I mean, I have 6 kids. I'm currently homeschooling 5 of them, but that's still a lot of subjects and a lot of curriculum to go through. And I usually also make a video on like our group, anything that we do group subjects. I plan on doing a video on all of my kids' personal readers, so everything that they read this year. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over everything. I'm going to start from like youngest to oldest. I think will be the easiest way. So I'm going to go over everything that my youngest daughter did this year. She just completed her grade 1 year. She's 6 years old. She'll be turning 7 actually next month. Yeah, overall we had a really good year. I'm going to say this, I don't know if I'll say this in every video, but I am going to say once again, because I know I've mentioned it before, that my kids will do grade appropriate work, but I'm more concerned about level appropriate. So for them specifically, and again, that is the freedom you have when you homeschool. It's not a one size fits all. You know, you're not in a classroom with like 30 kids and everybody has to do the same thing. You'll notice as I go through curriculum for all my kids that depending on the publisher, depending on the subject, all of that stuff, I just pick and choose what I feel is the best fit for that child, for that age, for that grade. Some of it is spot on, some of it might be under level, some of it might be above level. I don't even look at it that way, because if you're a seasoned homeschooler or if you're new, you'll find that as you start to shop around and look into and use different curriculums, that they're not equal. So you could have like a curriculum that's considered grade 1, put it up against a whole bunch of other curriculums that are also said to be grade 1 level, and you'll find a lot of differences. Some of them will be very advanced, some of them might seem like there's not enough. It's up to us to kind of make the ultimate call, and that's what I try to do. Are my kids learning? Is it challenging enough without it being too challenging, like where it's frustrating? And just being able to see progress as the year goes by is my ultimate goal. So with all that being said, let's hop into everything that my first grader completed this year. I'm specifically focusing on, you know, curriculums that we did. This is not necessarily everything that she did in her day, because she has her personal devotionals. She has a learning binder, like learning morning binder that she does, that I rotate different sheets through that are like for dry erase. She has a journal that she fills in every day also. So things like that are not included in here. But in terms of actual curriculum, I'm gonna actually start with this one here, which is the Draw Right Now series. And this is book 1. Is this book 1? Yes, this is book 1. And this is the first year that we have done this. I mean, I've known about this curriculum forever. And if you didn't know, it's an art curriculum. So it was the first year that we incorporated this into my first grader, and also my 5th grader. She did it as well, like she did a different level. But she has book 1 and book 2. She only made it through book 1. This is not the kind of thing that we did every single day. Maybe once a week, not even. Sometimes she did it once a week. Sometimes a couple weeks would go by and then we would do it. So it was very kind of go with the flow. It's obviously an elective and an extra, but that being said, we both really enjoyed it. This is the kind of thing that, you know, being 6 years old, with the exception of me reading some of the little blurbs, like there'd be a picture and then a little blurb underneath about, you know, whatever. So this is about cats. Some of it she could read, some of it I would read for her. But aside from that, it's pretty independent. So she's got all hers. Maybe it's not the neatest way to do it, but she has all her drawings in the back. And she just really She just really enjoyed doing it. I don't know how much of that you can see, but she loved it actually. The first level has a lot of like animals, wildlife, stuff like that. Right up her alley, the kind of stuff that she likes to do. And then again, little blurbs underneath. Quick, simple, just a really easy add-on, but a fun way to introduce art. She did not get to book 2, so we're probably just gonna roll that one over into next year. But again, it's inexpensive, it's fun, it's great, so we loved that. Another favorite, longtime favorite of our homeschool, all of my kids have done it at some point, is of course Explode the Code. It's an oldie but a goodie. Again, it's just kind of like an extra. It's not really, I wouldn't say it's not an all-in-one sort of curriculum. This is more just of a reinforcement to accompany their core language arts curriculum, whatever that is for your first grader. But this is the one that she did. I think she actually, it's A, B, is it? I think it's A, B, and C. They do letters first before they hit the number levels. She finished this well before the school year was done. She did do this every single day though. I actually had her do like two page, not two like full pages back and forth, but just like 2 sides of a page. Maybe took her 5 or 10 minutes, depending on, as it got like further on, she was getting faster and faster at it. It's a little bit of everything, and again, it's not intensive, but it's just sort of like a little bit of a refresher on whatever they're already learning. So for sure, I'll be adding this on, and I might actually grab, they have half levels as well. So I'll probably end up grabbing for her for next year, like 1.5 and 2. And then as soon as she's done one, she can, because I'm positive she'll be able to get through 2 of these books next year. Okay, another one that she did was a reason for handwriting, level A. Now we've done this before in our homeschool. A lot of my kids have done a reason for handwriting, and also we have done handwriting without tears. This is just basically, yeah, a handwriting course that incorporates Bible verses. It's based on a 4-day schedule, and so every single day work on usually some letters, a word based on or found in whatever verse is for that week, and then by the end of the week they're writing out the actual Bible verse in its entirety. It is copy work, but it is great for reading because I would have her read each day what she was writing. It enforces spelling, and I like that it is also throwing in the Bible verses in there as well. So she completed this book. I plan on doing level B with her next year. Again, this is pretty independent. It's only, we do it Monday to Thursday, so Friday she doesn't do it. Every once in a while she would need help with a word here and there, like saying, reading a word, but aside from that she was able to do this on her own. Just me kind of checking that she's, you know, using her neatest writing. We love this, so definitely plan on using this again next year. Now we move on to, it's the same reason for, so this is a reason for handwriting, and then we have a reason for spelling. A reason for spelling is also something that we have used with many of my kids throughout the years, and it is obviously a very specific spelling curriculum, but also features scripture, Bible scripture. So I do love that whenever we can add that in. It's not that it wasn't successful. We enjoyed it. I already knew what to expect because, like I said, I've done this with my other kids, so that's why I went ahead and got this for her. This is the first year that she was doing it, and we didn't complete it though. We actually didn't get very far in it at all. We got to like lesson 15, but we weren't doing it every day. And that was sort of the main thing. What I actually ended up finding was that between Explode the Code and the handwriting, and then her main language arts curriculum, it's not that it was repetitive, but it was just kind of becoming a lot, and I didn't want to like force too much onto her, especially because it's still so early on. She's only 6 years old, and you know, she is very, I don't know if I want to say mature for her age, but she is, like, for 6 years old, we all joke around about how she does not act 6 years old. She's very intelligent, and she's very diligent about doing her work. She's very good that way. So when we do sit down and do work together, like, she just knocks it out. And so I didn't want to add on like too much seat work into her day. I pulled this out literally, well, obviously the odd time. So it's neither here or there about the curriculum itself, it's great. I can't think now, as they get older, we usually switch over, and now I can't think. Spelling workout, I think it is the other one that we do. I think it's spelling workout. I just think that based on everything else, I didn't really like, sometimes you don't know till you're doing it. It just became a lot. So I'm going to continue doing this with her next year. I'm not going to be worried about like moving on. This is level B. She's going into grade 2. So I mean, it kind of coincides if you want to be particular about it. And I will just probably keep doing it similar to what we did, because she was getting spelling practice in a lot of other books and stuff. So that's why I didn't push it. So I'm just going to continue adding this on here and there sporadically, and we'll just leave it at that. But all in all, this is a great curriculum that we do love. And then the last two, I would say more like core curriculums for her, because I consider a lot of these, again, just kind of like add-ons and reinforcements to the core curriculums. We used both for math, and for language arts, we used The Good and the Beautiful. But I do really like, okay, so I just print these out. That's why they're in binders. I print them out. We live in Canada, and sometimes the shipping can be a nightmare, if I'm honest. And right now, as of now anyway, I printed them out and just put them in binders. I do love, and again, it depends on your kid, but I do love that it's a colorful curriculum. A lot of times it's black and white, you know, and very plain, like something like Matthew C, which we have used and also love, but it is very much like, it is literally just black and white. There's no frills or anything about it. For her, it does work. I like that there's stories. I like there's just different ways of teaching in this curriculum. A lot of games to play. We use counting sticks and blocks and dice and all kinds of stuff like that she really enjoyed as well. I do love that it's very interactive and it holds her attention, keeps her interested. You can actually use the Good and the Beautiful app as well, and it has, every once in a while I might ask you to pull it out. It'll have things like little songs, days of the week, stuff like that. So that's fun as well. But overall, I mean, I loved it. Like even this, you cut out the shapes and she had to glue them on to make this duck. So for her, and I think part of it is the age as well for most kids, I think it's a great curriculum. You do have to pretty much do it alongside them. So just, you know, I mean, it's only grade 1. So, but the lessons are very short. In fact, most of the time we'd be done a lesson and she'd be like, oh, it's done already. She said that a lot. So the lessons are very short, but she did great. She did really, really well in this. I was happy with this. I think we're going to continue on the Good and the Beautiful math for next year as well. And then moving on to the Good and the Beautiful, sorry guys, there's a glare. I can't really do much about that, but this is just printed out PDF and just stuck in a binder. I just hole punch it and stuck it in a binder. And again, the PDFs are free to download, so it's a great value if you're looking to save a little bit of money. We actually grabbed a level K for both of these. I grabbed level K for math and level K for language arts because, and the reason I did that is, well, okay, so for language arts, the Good and the Beautiful doesn't have an official grade 8 language arts program. It is a book study only. I've done this with my other kids, is just kind of having them be one level behind. Again, it's not behind, but in terms of grade level, like grade number. So when they're in grade 8, they're doing level 7, the Good and the Beautiful, which is the last like complete course. And usually it's fine because I find that their stuff is it's definitely not lacking. So them doing level 7 in grade 8 is great for my kids anyway. And also I supplement with so many other things. They're not lacking in any of the language arts areas. That's just how we do it and we find that it works. Now I will say that the grade level K math is probably easy for her, and she actually said a couple times, oh, this is easy. And she was, like I said, I mean, the lessons are short, but she was flying through them pretty fast. This incorporates everything from phonics, writing, reading, grammar, punctuation, spelling, literature, geography, and art. So it is jam-packed full of all the things, which is great because you have so much that you are covering in here. It sounds like a lot, but I feel like it's done well. The pacing is done well, and it breaks up the lessons too, because you know, you're kind of, you know, in one lesson you could be learning blends or sounds or vowels or whatever, and then a little bit later you're learning about art or geography, which I think is kind of nice because it's definitely not boring. So that is what I do love the language arts, like the Good and the Beautiful language arts curriculum for. And I don't see us switching, but like I said, I do add in even though I'm saying it has a lot, it does have a lot, but as they get older, I will sometimes add in things depending on what I feel like maybe they need a little more practice on or a little more time working on something. Then I'll add in some extra curriculums. The other thing I love about the language arts course as well is there's also an app. Letter Tiles app is what it's called. It goes up to level 3. This is just, I'll just show you kind of what it looks like, kind of, sort of. In the lessons, it will tell you if you're using the app, it'll say open the Letter Tiles app. Then there'll be a corresponding lesson in here that goes with whatever you're doing. And usually what it is they get letter tiles depending on what's being asked, and you have them spell different words. It's just a fun way to have them, like, you ask them to spell different words and they get to move the tiles around. And there's also little interactive games on there as well. So I do love that about the language arts. Already here in the level K, there is some what they consider to be independent practice. And again, it's not that like I can just take off and leave, but usually, you know, I can kind of give her an idea of what is being asked of her to do. But the thing about the Good and the Beautiful, I will say, as the teacher, as the parent, is it's enjoyable to do with them. It's not boring factor applies just as much to me as it does to them. So I would say that that was like the bulk of what she did this year. I'm gonna throw this in because I know I talked about this, pretty sure I talked about this. It's the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Now, Everly is, like I said, she's 6, she's turning 7. She is definitely reading. She can read some leveled readers. And you know, she's still learning though. We did do this, we didn't complete it. We did do this. Got maybe a quarter of the way through this book, and I'll be honest with you, I've used this with all my kids and I've never actually completed the book, because usually what I find is well before we get to the end of the book, my kids have taken off with reading and we just don't need to continue it. So we just make it work for us. I plan on still utilizing this with her this upcoming year. I found that there was a lot of similarities at some point between this and the stuff she was learning in her Good and the Beautiful language arts book. And so more so than not, I was kind of skipping some lessons and trying to figure out like where to do a lesson with her where it wasn't necessarily repetitive. Not that that's necessarily bad either. I'm not talking about like reinforcing what she's already learned, but just where like the entire lesson was just a repeat of what she had just done. I would much rather just spend that time reading books with her practicing that way. So I would just kind of try to skip through to where there were lessons, where there were new concepts that were being taught. So we're still going to use this, but like I said, the intention was never to complete this book in 1 year. I've never done that with any of my kids. So now that we're in summertime anyway, we're not doing any formal homeschooling necessarily aside from reading. And then we'll see where we're at come this next school year. But there you have it. So that is my first graders curriculum recap. And I would say all in all, it was a very successful year. Happy with everything that we used, you know, in terms of the actual curriculum that I chose for her. I've used it all before, so I kind of knew what to expect. I knew the format, I kind of knew how it was laid out, I knew how we were going to incorporate it into our days and into our weeks. She had a very good year. She's come a long way. She learned a lot. She's a smarty pants. I'm looking forward to this next year with her. With the exception of a few changes, I think that a lot of this stuff you'll be seeing when I show what our plans are for this upcoming homeschool year. You're probably gonna see a lot of the same stuff. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your summer. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to my channel. I would love for you to join me over here. If you wanna follow me on Instagram, it's just Modern Mom for Life there. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.